Welcome to ASHLEE MARIE. I hope you guys enjoyed the third episode of Halloween Baking Championship. Today I'm recreating my bloody brain donuts. These are apple pie filled donuts with a toasted walnut brain, and I changed things up a bit by making caramel blood. Let's get started. All right, I know what you guys are thinking, yeast raised donuts, why is she doing that? But the reason that I went with the yeast raised donut instead of a cake donut is because it's what I'm familiar with. It's what I'm used to. It's what I make at home. And so when you're in a situation like that and it's really stressful, not let alone being timed, but just like your brain is not thinking very clearly, as you guys have seen on the show, I made a ton of mistakes, but I wanted to go with something that was as familiar as possible. So that's why I did it. Let's get started. You want to take your milk and warm it up. This is at just under 110 degrees, which is right about where we want it. So I'm going to add my sugar, and the sugar helps yeast, and then we're going to add the yeast, give it a little bit of a stir, and then we're going to let it brew for about 5 minutes. So while we're doing that, take some butter. Come on, butter. That's been nice and softened. We're gonna add our sugar and we're gonna beat it till it's nice and soft. You're gonna add an egg that's been at room temperature. All right, now as you can see, it really is light and fluffy. So we're gonna add our salt, our vanilla, give it one last mix, and then we're gonna be ready to add the yeast. Our milk and yeast have been added. Now we're going to switch over to a dough hook, and I'm gonna use a dough hook with a scraper. Keeps the dough from like piling up around the center. All right, there we go. Now we're not gonna add all the flour at once. We're gonna add about half of it, maybe about, okay. We're gonna add 2/3 of it. And now we're going to turn it on and mix it in. You might not use all of flour, so keep an eye on it. Don't just add it all because it says 3 cups. You know, play with it a little. What we're looking for is for the dough to kind of pull away from the sides and actually clean the sides as it works around itself. So we clearly need a little bit more flour. That looks great. Can you see how it's actually cleaned the side of the mixer? It's perfect. Don't add too much flour. So now what we're gonna do is take a bowl that we want it to rise in, and I'm gonna spray it down with some olive oil, just so it's, so the dough won't stick. Our dough has risen beautifully. We're about ready to roll it out. So I'm gonna make the filling, because when we roll it out, we're gonna put the filling in. So I'm melting some butter. I'm gonna add some sugar to that, and our spices, some cinnamon and nutmeg. We're going to add our apples to our butter and spices. And stir it up because we want these apples all covered with this spice. All right, now we need some liquid. So this is some water and some lemon juice. And now we're just gonna cook this down until all the apples are nice and soft. So I'm gonna cover it with this lid and cook it for about 4 to 6 minutes, checking on it and stirring every minute or so. Our apples are nice and soft, but there's still all this liquid in here. So what we're gonna do is take some water and cornstarch, and it takes a little bit take some muscle to get that cornstarch and water incorporated. All right, so stir the cornstarch and water together. Add that to our pan. And now leaving the lid off, just keep stirring while it cooks, and it's gonna thicken right up. This is nice and thick. Let's turn it off, roll out our donuts and fill them. Usually you wanna roll your donuts about 1/2 inch thick, but because these are filled donuts, we're actually rolling them about 1/4 inch thick, about half of the size. So this is looking pretty good. And now we're gonna cut out all the circles. Take some water and run it on 1/2 of these donuts. This is actually gonna help seal the 2 halves together. add a scoop of filling to the center of each donut. We don't want to overfill these, so if it looks a little sparse, it's okay. Cover each of these halves, pressing it into place, making sure that you get all of that good apple filling on the inside. We don't want any of that to actually be like halfway out or anything. All right. And that water that we put down is actually helping to hold that into place. Now notice that as I'm pressing this top one into place, I'm also kind of stretching the donut out just a little bit. The reason for that is in order to get these to seal completely, we're actually going to cut it again. So see how there's like the two pieces? We could actually accidentally get some donut juice or some filling juice coming out of that. So what we want to do is actually recut. Now you don't want to twist, you just want to cut straight down, and that is going to seam that donut together. So take that extra off. And now we're going to let these rise for about 30 minutes. Our donuts have risen and they are ready to go in the oven. Lay out your nuts in kind of a nice flat row along your baking pan. And I want mine to be a little bit salty, so I'm gonna just kind of salt them a little bit before I toast them. All right, so I have my oven at 350 degrees. We're gonna put them in there for about 8 to 10 minutes. All right, our nuts are toasted, they're out of the oven. You can see how they have this great golden color to them. And it just adds something to the flavor. The judges are right. It makes a big difference. So it's definitely worth toasting your nuts. So first thing I'm gonna do is pull out all of the whole walnuts because these are gonna be the brains. Now in the show, I actually just used some corn syrup that I colored red to be the blood on top of the donut. But I felt like it was dripping off the walnut too easily, like it wasn't quite as chunky and thick as I wanted. And let's face it, corn syrup doesn't taste very good. It's just kind of a sweet little wow on top. So to complement the donut with the apple spiced filling and the cinnamon glaze, I decided to go with a caramel sauce this time. So that's what we're gonna make now. It's just 2 different kinds of sugar, white sugar and brown sugar, butter, and then of course, some kind of liquid. Now you can just use water, but I want this to be thicker, and so I'm using corn syrup. It will kind of help hold the whole thing together as well. And turn it on. It's at a full boil. I let it boil for an extra couple of minutes, and now what we want to do is we're gonna let it cool for 5 minutes. So as you can see, it's nice and thick now. So we're gonna add in the whipping cream and stir that in. Get all that good stuff out. Now, because this is hot sugar, if we had poured the cold cream in while it was still super warm, it would have just caused the sugar to get hard. And in fact, it's already having difficulty with that, but that's why you want it to cool for 5 minutes first. The whipping cream is completely stirred into it. Look at that beautiful color. All right, because it's hard to see inside this bowl, I'm gonna pour it into here, and then we're gonna mix in the red food dye to make this look like blood. So right now, it just looks like a beautiful golden caramel sauce. So I have red food gel. Now, you can use the powder too, that's gonna give it a nice strong flavor. Just, you know, the liquid is not gonna work very well, so. The red usually takes a lot more to get a really strong color than other dyes do. Black, red, navy, they're really hard to achieve. So don't be afraid to add a lot to this. I like to get the super red because it's stronger. And I also like to get the no taste red because even though food gel coloring doesn't have a taste, it kind of does once you start to add, you know, copious amounts of it. So, all right, well, that didn't take quite as much as I thought, probably because it was already so golden in color. And now we have red caramel sauce. It's time to make our glaze. So we start with powdered sugar. I'm gonna add some cinnamon and just kind of stir the powdered sugar and cinnamon up together just a little bit. And then I'm gonna add about half the milk, just because I kind of want to see if it's the right consistency before we add too much. You know, you can always add more. It's hard to take it away once it's added. I'm gonna add some vanilla. think I'm gonna add the rest of the milk. All right, that looks like a great consistency for our glaze. Our donuts are out of the oven. Now remember, these are baked donuts, not fried, so they look a little bit different. Anyway, dip them in the glaze, hot, hot, hot. Put them on your plate, dip them in the glaze. We have everything together. We have our apple pie filled donuts with a cinnamon glaze. We have our toasted salted walnuts, and we have our caramel blood. So just stick a walnut into your caramel, pull it out, let it drip off just a little bit, and place it right on top of your donut, and repeat. Drip off a little bit, place on top. Now, why am I letting it drip off a little bit, you might want to know? Well, just because I don't necessarily want a puddle right on top. I kind of want the brain to stand out a little bit. So we're going to take this fork and we're just going to drizzle our caramel blood all over the plate. Don't worry if it makes a mess, although because of the red dye, I will say if you do make a mess on like a counter that's kind of porous, I would clean it up right away. Like nothing to panic about, but don't let it sit. All right, we're all done. What do you guys think? I think the caramel blood and its carnage actually looks perfect. It smells amazing, and I think it's really gonna elevate these donuts. So now's the best part. We get to give it a try. So let's see. Oh, you guys, this is so good. Can you see that apple pie filling in there? The cinnamon and nutmeg, the tart apples, and then that caramel. This is seriously so good. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss anything. I hope you guys have enjoyed all of the Halloween Baking Championship episodes recreated. You don't want to miss a thing. And next week is the finale. I can't believe I made it to the final episode. I'm so excited. All right, so don't forget to watch, don't forget to subscribe, and go make some donuts. Thanks for watching.